Well, hey there, everybody, and welcome back to yet another episode of Owning Your Outdoors. Joining me, as always, Mr. Doug Schroeder with Lewis. And Doug, we're talking about something maybe some of us take for granted for sometimes, and that's pollinators.
Yes. I've been encouraging people for years to set up pollinator gardens. Just give the pollinators something that they can live on, and I think if everybody did their bit, we'd be in a lot better place.
I would agree with that. And let's just kind of start with the basics. What is pollination exactly?
Pollination, bees, hummingbirds, butterflies, bats, and insects. They move pollen around on different plants, and they move male pollen to female pollen, which creates seed, which creates our crops and everything that we live off of. So it's very important.
I would say very, very important. And, when you're talking about pollinators, we typically think bees, but you mentioned bats, too, can actually be pollinators?
Bats are actually considered a pollinator.
Huh, very, very interesting.
People think butterfly, all the pollinators are pretty. No, we have bats, too.
They do a lot in the environment, too,
That's
I'm
right,
sure.
they do.
Well, on top of that, what is something that people maybe can do? I've heard of pollinator gardens to attract them?
Pollinator gardens, yes. The big thing about pollinator gardens is you want to put a collection of items together that pollinators from our area, pollinators that are moving through our area like. So you do a little research there, put the grouping together. The important thing on a pollinator garden is to have something blooming all the time that they can feed off of.
Something that maybe stagger those plants a little bit?
Right, so you have your spring, your strong summer, and your fall plants.
Right, and would you say you want to plant more of those kind of naturally occurring, those habitable plants into the area too?
Yes, it's always nice if you can plant something that is native to our area here. It has a tendency, because of the zoning and everything else, to thrive a little bit better. And pollinators in our area are used to that type of plant.
Right, and that obviously would attract more of the native pollinators to our areas too.
Correct.
How do you kind of go about choosing the right plants for the garden, choosing kind of the best area too?
The best area is sun. You need sun for most blooming plants. You need a nice sunny area. Like I said, choose a variety of plants that bloom all the time, and also a lot of natives for this area.
A lot of natives, good deal. Well, I know a lot of the time with my parents' house, my dad might be spraying some stuff. You don't really want to do that. No.
Once you establish your pollinator garden, what I encourage people to do is go through and weed it once a week. You're going to need to water to get it established. And also, no pesticides. That kind of defeats the purpose.
Exactly. We want to use more
organic things,
stuff,
and also, if you, in other parts of your yard outside of your pollinator garden, if you're going to spray a pesticide, make sure it's late in the evening when pollinators are not active.
So we don't kind of affect them with that.
That's right.
You already kind of mentioned watering. How would you kind of go about that? Like, how often do these need water?
I recommend 2 or 3 times a week. It really depends on the weather, which you've been providing a lot of natural rain.
Just gonna have to watch the weather.
That's right. So if you're getting a lot of natural rain, less often. But if, typically this time of year we're dry. So if it was a dry, typical year, 2 or 3 times a week.
Okay, that's not too terribly hard to maintain, I would say.
No.
Would you maybe recommend what kind of plants, like shrubs, bushes, flowers, obviously?
Yes, perennials, annuals, shrubs are all important. As you look behind us, we have a lilac bush here. Shrubs provide great shelter for our pollinators. There are things that feed on pollinators, and it protects them. It has a place for them to go for protection.
Yeah, kind of just like us, right?
That's right.
And that is true. With that bush behind us, I had a bee buzz right past me right when we walked out.
Yes, you did.
You have a nice little pollinator garden, I would say, even over here, Doug.
Yes. I try to do my bit for pollinators every year in front of my house.
Well, awesome. Anything else, quick tips or tricks you'd like to add?
Nope. I encourage everybody to get out there, and you can devote part of your yard or whatever to pollinator garden, or do some nice pots in front of your house that gives them a place to get some pollen.
Every little bit helps.
Every little bit helps.
Well, thanks so much for joining us here today. And just a reminder, you can watch this episode and any previous episode of Owning Your Outdoors anytime on the DakotaNewsNow.com and these streaming platforms that you see on your screen. Stick around, we'll be back after the break.